Hey, Jules Plus Vegan, just trying to get under the midnight mark by about 2 minutes. I am busy, people. Oh my goodness. For a teacher, this time of year is insanity. And I've got progress reports due. We've got state testing going on. We have open house coming up. I've got more testing after that. It just keeps coming. But I love to check in with my JBV community, right? So I wanted to talk about tomorrow, which is Earth Day. And, it's just a very distressing time. I think about how the problem seems so astronomical regarding climate change and what's going on with the Earth that people are just like, whatever, it'll be what it is. And it's like, no, 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 no. For like hundreds of thousands of years, the Earth was doing fine. Then came the Industrial Age, and in the last 150 years, we have slammed this planet, right? Oh my gosh, breaking holes in the ozone layer. I mean, my gosh, the list just goes on and on. So I'm going to do some great lessons with my students tomorrow, and my desire is to empower them to believe that even small steps by the common public make a difference. So much of the waste is at the level of industry, right? But it always takes a grassroots movement of the common people to make the difference. Like, that's just straight up. It makes me so upset when there's a water shortage, right? Like, we've been in a drought and it's really bad in California. So right away they start saying, well, you can't have a cup of water in a restaurant. You need to ask for it. But the farmers, of which California produces like 40% of all agriculture in the world, can just let their water run off, in waste to ensure that they get their same quota next year. I mean, it's just so wrong. And, that just goes on and on. And so I do want to let my children know that their small efforts matter. They absolutely matter. And we have to figure it out because honestly, with the predictions of, melting glaciers, rising of oceans, risings of the tiniest percent of heat is devastating the planet in a crazy way. And I don't like to be fear-based, but I'd like to provide for generations to come. And they're going to have to get very clever, right? On the insanely hot, hot, hot summers, the cold, cold, cold winters, the, level 5 hurricanes. I mean, on and on. Like, it's kind of interesting when I think about sci-fi. Like, when you think about Back to the Future and how at the time the different components and little things that they had created, the gadgets and things, seemed impossible, like magical. And it turned out like 28 of those things came to fruition, and they just seem normal now. And I was watching the Star Trek clip, which I posted on my Facebook page, and it actually was from like the 70s. And the guy said, oh, and I'm paraphrasing, but the guy said, oh, we don't cage animals anymore. We don't consume animals. And this alien guy said, I've seen humans eating meat. And he said, no, no, it just looks like it. Like a, you know, computer program, and we digitalized it to make it look like meat. And it's, beautiful and delicious and whatever. And it was kind of like a prelude to what we have right now, where they're literally creating meat in, petri dishes. Like, honestly, it was astounding. And I just think, unfortunately, and I pray it doesn't go in this direction, but in terms of sci-fi and stuff, like even when I think of the Matrix, I mean, whole communities of people living underground, right? Because it's not safe up above. And I can't stand the idea of that, but it's amazing, how accurate that is. So this is a quote by Jane Goodall, and she's one of my favorites. Dr. Leakey was this doctor who cared about all primates, and he literally chose Diane Fossey for the gorillas, Jane Goodall for the chimpanzees, and a lesser known amazing woman who I was privy to know, and she's still very much alive. It was Brute Galdacos, and she actually named her daughter Jane after her good friend Jane Goodall. And she was in charge of the orangutans. And orangutan means little man of the forest. And the Orangutan Foundation International, which is referred to as OFI, is a foundation that I've been not only a member of for years, but actually worked at their Los Angeles headquarters. And, they work in Borneo and they try and preserve what they can, of the rainforest there on behalf of the orangutans that are still left. It's a tragic thing when a species goes. It matters. It matters, right? So this quote, you cannot get through a single day without having an impact on the world around you. What you do makes a difference, and you have to decide what kind of difference you want to make. Like, what is your footprint, right? What is that carbon footprint on this planet? And I'm aware of mine. I'm really aware of mine. And, I'm so sad that my school uses excuse me, styrofoam. They have a bunch of little containers for the kids. And oh my gosh, there's so much. Styrofoam can't be recycled at this time, right? Anything above a 3. And a 3 is rather difficult. The 4, 5s, and 6s really can't be recycled. And that's that little triangle on the bottom of any container. Some people are trying to make a difference. And I rejoice in that. But honestly, everything we do, just like with our health, everything we consume is a vote for wellness or disease. And on the planet, every action we take is either longevity for this planet or the detriment of it. So yeah, I just wanted to talk about that and say a prayer for Earth Day. All right, my friends, like if you like, join us if you haven't. Subscribe. Let me know in the comments below how I may support you. Can you relate to that quote one more time? You cannot get through a single day without having an impact on the world around you. What you do makes a difference, and you have to decide what kind of difference you want to make. Jane Goodall. And until we talk again, friends, best of all, know that you're blessed. You're here another day, and that is a blessing.